Welcome to the sunset. Should we hear some music? No, let's just listen to the sound of my voice because I'm going to talk about some stuff right now. I'm going to talk about the sun, and I'm going to talk about the moon. I'm going to talk about the earth. Out of those three things that I just mentioned, oh, and by the way, there's still a mourning dove down there on the ground. I don't know if you can see it in this kind of lighting. I can see it from my angle up above the window. But the sun, the moon, the earth, sometimes they form a straight line. To the best of my knowledge as a scientist, amateur scientist, because I'm an amateur everything, also an amateur YouTube creator, an amateur movie producer, an amateur artist. Anyhow, ad nauseum, jack of all trades. I wear many hats. Mystery, video guru. So, to the best of my knowledge, see, I don't want to say anything exactly. It's the 100% absolute truth, absolute reality. I just want to say that all of the best thinkers and the researchers and the scientists have come to the conclusion. It seems to be beyond theory and it is law that the three celestial bodies I just mentioned will form a line. Okay, so what happens during those lines, there's two different kinds of eclipses. And those two major kinds of eclipses have to do with the order or the positioning of the planets. Because there's two possibilities that we know of, therefore two kinds of eclipses. There's solar and lunar. I think most people know that. Just generally, it is common knowledge. Now, what's so special about the line that's formed? It basically does something with the energy waves. So there's several different forces, several different types of phenomenon that are involved. And these are studied by physics, metaphysics, engineering, chemistry, to a lesser extent. You know, all of it's interconnected in the physical reality of the cosmos, the universe. So these forces can be, as I mentioned, gravity, gravitation, fields, gravitation, waves, and there's also the related magnetism. There's magnetic fields, magnetic poles, and magnetosphere. And connected with that even more intimately, and we know the details, are the electrical fields, electrical waves, electrical current. So this energy we usually will describe as positive and negative sides. That's the way it circulates. Now, there's also other fields of just generally electromagnetic energy, which are radiation. These are types of particles. They They move differently. But everything in general is between these two types that if you look at quantum mechanics, they can be an energy wave or a particle. So what is it? Particles, there's bosons. So look that term up, for example. That's one of the main categories, boson. And the Higgs boson is a really infinitesimally small, and recently verified it. There was evidence to verify it. But as far as what happens when there's an alignment, because it's very brief, there's only a moment of exactitude. So it just basically, everything moves into that, then the perfect line, and then it comes out of that line. Because everything's in motion, they're moving on curves, curving like orbits, and these are actually waves. There's an up and down wave, and all the things intersect. So if you have 3 points, which are the celestial bodies, sun, moon, and the earth, you got 3 points, they'll form a line when their curves, their orbits, intersect in such a way. So it's difficult to put words to this. It's much easier when you look at the graphics and you see the animations of it, which is very helpful when we have computer graphics. Those types of animations that are generated can really be helpful, especially if you can toggle around and you interact with it where you change the point of view. I find that to be very, very useful. Even though my brain does all of the work, it like animates stuff if I don't have an animation in front of me with the computer and the machine. It doesn't matter, I can do it in my brain. So I have a unique skill to be able to do that. People that don't study it enough, or they don't have the gift, and by the way, it's such an amazing gift, and I'm always thankful because it just keeps me in awe of the universe and the creation that I believe it to be. And if you don't have that, it's okay, because that's why we have the computers. It gets you up to speed. It just does the work for you. Especially if you're focused on other things. I know everybody's really busy and we're multitasking, and there's so many obligations and bills to pay, unfortunately. But what happens is if you have an animation, it could be a video, you don't have to interact with it, just a linear video, you play it through, and you'll see these types of things. Now, I'm saying all this because we are right now in the eclipse season of the current time. So I call it time, space, waves, chronocosmology. That's a new science that I developed, and you'll be able to read about it in my book, and there'll be a documentary movie with all these cool animations, and there'll also be a website and an app which you can interact with it after you see the movie, and if you like it and you want to explore it deeper and you really want to study it and get to know about it. Maybe you know about these things and you're going to feel like intimidated or annoyed or I'm rocking the boat. Your ivory tower of academia, I'm sorry, but check it out. If you're open-minded, that's the real scientific method. That is the true purpose and truth of science. Maybe we have to call it something else if everybody in science is just closed-minded and they we know everything and that kind of stuff. We know everything that there is to know about eclipses. So as the sun is setting right now, the alignments are perfect, and basically the moon and the earth, to the best of my ability, the most accurate statement I can make is that the moon and the earth are changing places. They're dancing around and they're switching places in relation to how they point at the sun. So we've already had the one where the moon is in the middle, and the Earth has to look across space to the moon and see the sun behind it. That one already happened. That's a solar eclipse. So what we're coming up to very soon, and I'll put it in the description, is that the Earth will be in between, and it'll be looking at the moon at the nighttime side of the Earth, and you'll be able to see the shadow because the sun is looking at the moon, but through the middle. So, from the position of the Earth, which we always are, it's the center, quote unquote, geocentrically, it's our center. And we look from the side facing away from the sun, and you look into the sky, the nighttime sky, and you see the moon, and it will have the shadow of the Earth on it. Our own shadow. That's because the alignment is relatively perfect in the day. I think there's a bird flying in the twilight. I call this twilight. It's dusk. And I'm going to open this now so you can hear the sounds of the locality, and you can get through this glass. The camera's going to move a little bit. So I've done my best to kind of talk through spontaneously improvising. That was just off the top of my head. I don't know. I might have made some mistakes. If you want to point anything out, like I said, I'm just an amateur scientist, astronomer, and I just enjoy the universe. Don't you know? And there's a cardinal down there at the base of the BirdFeeder poles. The eclipse will be pretty soon. I don't know when you're watching this. I don't know if you did know about it. If this is later on, if this is in the next year or two, did you actually see this eclipse? The particular eclipse will be on, I believe it's May 15th, depending on the night of the 15th. So that we'll be seeing it on the side of the Earth of the Western Hemisphere, basically from the Americas. And I'll give you a link so you can study it. Now the sun is setting in the west over the horizon. It's very nice lighting. Peaceful. Anything we're going into. Except for the fact that there's a lot of conflict in the world and violence in some places. And I pray for peace, as we all should. Even though it's difficult to get it, what can we do? What kind of work, what kind of effort can we put in? We're not sure, but prayer is the least we can do. Praying for peace will give us a blessing, and it probably does. I believe it will help. There's just a lot of reasons for all these things going on. But I think for the most part there's a lot of peacefulness in nature and thankfulness and gratitude and love and harmony in the world. And that's what we want. That's what we need. And I think we will be accepted by the higher beings, quote-unquote aliens, in the galaxy. I think they're watching us. I think we're being observed. This is just an idea that I have. It's a very common idea, a popular idea these days. It's science fiction. 200 years ago, 400 years ago, 1600 years ago, maybe they didn't think about it so much, maybe, or maybe they did, because they talk a lot about angels and other beings. And maybe that's the same thing, just a different word, like it's a different style and a different type of awareness of the same thing. We're not human. And maybe humans are not human either. Maybe we're cartoons compared to the aliens. Well, no, I'm not going to get too far off the deep end. We are human beings. We're sentient life. Human beings have to keep our heads straight and reach for the stars with our feet on the ground. You can jump a little bit, but you always got to come down and be grounded. Have your roots down to earth. It's just common sense. But then there's something we're reaching for. There's something else. What they call in the sky the heavens. What they call that out there is outer space. It's the time-space waves. So I just hope everybody can be attuned. You want to tune? It's like almost like music. It's like timing. You want to be in tune with the alignment of things. And it's coming up. And if you look back into your personal history, your memories, just remember what was going on during this time. It's very important to keep track of things so we know our history. If you don't understand history, you don't even know about it. You need to repeat it. So I'm looking at this as a mile marker. And they just go periodically through time. It's a rhythmic beat. It's pretty regular. It's a pattern. So I use it. It's like the heartbeat of our celestial system. It's the heartbeat of our cosmos. A place in the Milky-Way galaxy. And for this kind of beat or mile marker along the path, it's the auspicious time. It's the proper moment to say, okay, what's going on in life? And you can compare it to every other one that goes before. And you can almost use that to predict the times that are coming in the future.